Hey everyone, today I would like to speak to you about the Coptic people, a group with a rich history and unique identity that is often overlooked in the modern world. For myself, I am a Coptic person, and this group of people that have came before me and that are currently, in my place have really inspired me and, changed who I am as a person completely. I'll be talking about, five aspects of the Coptic people's history, including their culture, origins, identity, persecution, monasticism, and nationalism. The first thing I'd like to discuss about is the origins of the Coptic people. According to Claremont Graduate University professor Christian van Gerder, the Coptic people are the descendants of the ancient Egyptians and are known for their unique language and customs. Van Gerder explains that the word Coptic comes from the Greek word Aegyptos, which means Egyptian, and that the Coptic language, which is derived from this ancient Egyptian, is still used in the Coptic liturgy till this day. The second thing I'd like to highlight is the identity of the Coptic people. I'd like to cite a journal article by Mark Swanson, a professor at the Lutheran School of Theology in Chicago. Swanson explains that the Coptic people's identity is closely tied to their Christian faith, as they are one of the oldest Christian communities in the world and have been evangelized by St. Mark the Evangelist. The Coptic Orthodox Church is the largest Christian denomination in Egypt and the Middle East, with over 12 million members. The Coptic Church also includes many people who are in the diaspora, people who are in America, Australia, and all over the world, who are all looking for this ancient faith and trying to, kind of build their faith in Christ through this church. Next, I'd like to discuss the monastic tradition in the Coptic Church. According to an article by Kamil in the Journal of Eastern Christian Studies, the monastic tradition in the Coptic Church dates back to the 4th century, when Saint Anthony the Great, the first monk of all Christians, decided to go into the desert. And as Kamil notes today, there are many Coptic monasteries throughout Egypt and around the world. And that monastic tradition is a source of spiritual strength and inspiration for the Coptic people. Kind of expanding on that point, many Coptic people today go to these monasteries, in hopes of kind of clearing their minds of the world and spending more time with Christ and with themselves, and kind of trying to figure out, where they are in the world. And this monastic life is very, very important to the Coptic Church, and this is kind of where the source of the spiritual judgment and the spiritual reasoning and knowledge comes from, is these monks throughout the desert. Finally, I'd like to address the issue of persecution among the Coptic people. This persecution starts in the early 4th century, and it continues till this day. And this allows for the Coptic people to have a very increased nationalism in themselves and in being Egyptian and being Coptic, because they've been persecuted for so long that they continue to stand up for themselves and continue to stay strong in their faith. For example, as you see on the screen, you see a lot of Coptic people who are protesting against all this persecution that they endure. For one, I have a Coptic cross tattoo on my wrist to show and to proclaim that I am strong in my faith, and that it doesn't really matter if we get persecuted, because we will stay strong in our faith. But according to an article by Maurice Tadros in the Journal of Human Rights, the Coptic people, as I said, have developed a strong sense of nationalism. They're proud of their Egyptian heritage and have contributed greatly to Egyptian culture and society. Tadros further notes that Coptic nationalists have called for greater recognition and rights in the community, as well as end to persecution and discrimination. The most recent form of persecution that the Coptic Church has seen was actually very recently. There was a church that was bombed in Minya in Egypt, and the Coptic Church, still to this day deals with stabbings, killings, churches getting blown up all over the world, not just in Egypt. A couple of years ago, a similar incident happened in Australia, where a church was burned down to the ground on Easter Sunday. So what we can take away from all of this is that the Coptic people are a fascinating and resilient group with a unique identity and history in a culture that is worth exploring further. Through their origins, identity, monastic tradition, and nationalism, we can gain a greater understanding of the challenges and triumphs that have shaped this community and the community of Christians and Egyptians all over the world throughout all these centuries. Thank you for listening to my speech.